Thank you very much for joining this session. We have already completed most of our experimental procedure and theoretical background regarding the experiment. Today, I would like to talk about the lab report preparation because to complete this course, you need to submit a lab report, but not now. Later on, this will be announced when you have to submit the lab report, because we will conduct the final exam in the campus, because the final exam for lab final exam we cannot take online. We have to conduct inside the campus. So the final part of this course would be completed in campus. So when we will be able to conduct the final exam, after that you will be asked to submit the lab report, because some of the experimental procedures and the protocol you can write as it is given in the guideline, but some experiments require the data for the calculation. There are some experiments which have calculation, and calculation requires data. If you do not conduct experiment, then how will you get the data? So to acquire the data, we need to conduct the experiment in the laboratory. But there are some experiment and some procedures which do not require any data. So you can just write as it is given in your guideline. That means the lab manual I am sharing with you. So please listen to me very carefully how we will prepare the lab report. You have to start the lab report with two very basic things: is the safety in the chemistry laboratory. That's what I'm sharing you now, because any kind of work, any kind of experiments that you want to conduct inside the chemistry laboratory, you have to follow the safety rules very strictly. So this is important for all kind of experimental procedures inside a chemistry lab. So first you will start with safety rules. You can just list down the safety rules from this manual, because it is more or less inclusive with all the information regarding the chemical safety, regarding the equipment safety and other emergencies. So you have to write down the lab safety rules at the very beginning of your lab report. So even you can start from today. Second is the labs apparatus, the identification and functions of lab apparatus. I would like to share the PowerPoint slide that I shared earlier with you. This one, you can use this PPT where the laboratory apparatus, their functions and the diagrams are there. So what you will do, you will draw the diagram of the apparatus and also write down the function. So here, for identification purpose, you have to draw the diagram and also you have to write down the function. Then third, we'll start the experimental procedure. So I'd like to get back to the earlier document. So after the functions of lab apparatus, you write down the experiment on the identification of cations by flame test. So you can follow just as it is: objective of the test, theoretical background, apparatus, procedure, and this table. But what you need to keep blank is this table, because we do not know how many compound and which compound we would like to analyze in our laboratory. As earlier I told, during the before the final exam, we would like to conduct the experiment in the lab. So here you will keep this table blank. Here I have put this data just for demo purpose for your understanding, but you will not write this table as it is. You can just create the table, later on you can fill it up when the experiment will be conducted in the chemistry laboratory. Limitations are same, you can write it even now. So for this flame test, you will write all the things given in this lab manual. Just keep this table blank, later on you can fill it up after conducting the experiment. All right, then we conducted the preparation of stock solution having various strength by applying the concept of solution stoichiometry and calculation of molar weight of the compound. Here, all these are the theoretical background, so you can easily write here for your understanding purpose, the preparation of stock solution. And actually, we will not calculate here, rather than this calculation will be done in the acid-base titration. There we usually calculate the experiment, calculate the concentration of the unknown solution. And this table you don't need to write because this table was for your understanding, not for the lab report purpose, because it is just to. And this mathematical equation you don't need to do anything because this is for your practice, not for the lab report. Then this experiment acid-base titration. You can do it as it is objective of the test theory. Then some terminologies, endpoint, equivalent point, indicator. You can omit, you can skip this indicator part because this is too much theoretical. It actually you don't need to write this in your lab report. Indicator part you can skip. So then you can add equipment, procedure, and here again the data table should be kept blank. Here you can see some data I have put here, but this is for just demo purpose, not the exact data. So you can create this table, but the table will be filled up when you will conduct the experiment in the laboratory. Similar earlier I told you in the flame test. So the calculation will also be blank. You will keep it blank. You don't need to write it. And before this determination of heat of solution, we actually conducted the experiment to identification of anion. Serially a little bit back, identification of anion here. Qualitative analysis, identification of anion. You can just directly follow this introductory part. Then the principle for that means a theoretical background for qualitative analysis. Usually which type of cations are identified, which type of common anions are identified, and apparatus for the qualitative analysis, which type of apparatus we need. And test for, we have done the test for chloride, test for iodide. Just you can follow as it is the process, because even when you carry out the experiment in the laboratory, we will do the same procedure. So you can earlier, you can write it for the lab manual, sorry, lab report purpose. So directly you can follow this from this manual. So the identification of anion done, then we will go for the determination of heat of solution. Did acid-base titration done, then determination of heat of solution. All right, here to determine the heat of solution. Objective or purpose same as it is, theoretical background, reaction, some procedures or the how to carry out this experiment. Here you have to keep it blank because we do not know how much potassium nitrate we will take or sodium hydroxide, or how much water will be taken, what would be the initial temperature, what would be the final temperature. Actually we do not know, so you have to keep this table blank. Later on when you will conduct the experiment, you will get the data and put it here. Similarly, if you do not have data, how you will conduct the how you will carry out the calculation. So this table and the calculation would be blank. Later on, when you will conduct the experiment, you will get the data and complete the calculation. So this is done. Then identification of iron 2 and iron 3 ions. You can easily write as it is, because it is the experimental procedure. There is no data, just there is the observation. When you will add the identification reagent to the sample, you will find how these they are getting changed, and depending on the changing of their color, depending on the changing on their physical appearance, we will identify whether it is a iron 2 or iron 3 ion. There are two methods. However, usually in the laboratory, we use the first method. In the laboratory, we use the first method. So you can write both method, but or you can just write the first method. Because earlier, when we conducted this experiment in the laboratory, we followed the first method. But in the video, I demonstrated the second method. We didn't do this, then okay. Reduction of iron 2 from iron ion to metallic ion by using charcoal block and blowpipe. There is no data, so you can directly write down this objective, theoretical background, and the reactions. And the apparatus, actually, when the procedure will be done, then you can write down the apparatus from the experiment. Procedure is this given here, result and discussion. You can write down by yourself. When you will conduct this experiment, you can write this result and discussion. And the last one was the, sorry, all this together. These are all what we have done regarding this laboratory experiment. So this is the instruction how we'll prepare the lab report, and the submission of lab report will be, sorry, the announcement will be done later. You will be informed in time when you have to submit this lab report. We have already missed some lab class due to some circumstances. So I'm planning to conduct that class on Saturday. You will be informed through email with the time, date, and also the link I will share with you. So please check your email and attend that class. As earlier I told, we have also makeup class tomorrow, inshallah, on Friday. You have already received the mail with the time schedule and link. Similar you will receive for other makeup class that will be conducted later.